Welcome to Empowered Living with Brenda Pierce, the Empowered Nurse. Join us for triage of body, mind, and spirit with her inspired guests, author, speaker, healer, TV show producer, and host. Brenda brings guests from around the world to share their story of breakdown to breakthrough and beyond. Here on the Dream Vision 7 Media Network to help you live a more empowered and inspired life. Now, sit back, relax, and let's get on with the show.
Hi, and welcome to everyone. I'm Brenda Pierce. I'm the host of Empowered Living here on the Dream Vision 7 Media Network. And I want to remind you all that Dream Visions is the media partner with the Omega Institute in New York State. And please check them out and get inspired by their online and in-person sessions that they have and bring amazing healers and speakers and authors from around the world there. So be inspired and check them out. And I want to invite you all to check out my website, www.brendapierce.com, for connections to great books and inspirational reading. I will be launching my rapid transformational therapy training healing sessions in the fall. You can check out upcoming events where I'm speaking and sharing the wisdom of all the people that are involved in the Empowered Living movement. And today we have Bob Tucker, who has been a friend of mine for several years, and he does amazing work called Creative Harmonic Solutions. The healing that he does there is amazing. We'll talk about my recent session with him. And I just want to tell you that this is a man who is really making a difference in so many people's lives. And where I live in Ontario, Canada, he lives in beautiful British Columbia, which is under a lot of turmoil right now with the fires that have been spreading like crazy through there. And I thank him very much for taking the time today to be with us. And welcome to the show, Bob.
Thank you very much, Brenda. It's wonderful to be here today.
It is really, well, I'm just thankful that you're able to be here, because I'm sure out in beautiful BC there is so much dust and smog and smoke in the air right now that it is taking a toll on people's, their whole sense of security and wellness, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was just even outside my window here. The wind has shifted a few days ago, and the smoke is just all the way through the valley here. And today is a little bit better. It's a little bit thinner out there, but I think it was yesterday kind of in the morning, especially, it was smelling like a campfire out there. And the poor dog here that I have here, he's been wanting to go outside for a walk, but it's a little bit too hard on the lungs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and this is the thing, is that there is so much out there that has been, holding us back and keeping us stuck and creating a sense of fear around us. I want to let people know that this is an opportunity for wellness, that this session, that this part of our show is going to be about with Bob. And it's also going to be filled with some science, and I know we have to compress a lot in a very short time, Bob, but I would love for you to tell us a bit about what you do. I'll let you have the floor. And I would love for you to share how it started for you, because there's always a story behind every breakthrough. There's a story. And this is a beyond for you. So I'd love for you to, just take it away and give us the goods.
Great. Thank you so much, Brenda. Maybe the great thing to do is basically start maybe a little bit with the story, and then we can kind of lead into then what I do. And what happened was that years ago, what kind of started things off for me is I was swimming down in the Caribbean, and I was hit with the Portuguese man o' war, and a neurotoxin had gone down my leg, my right leg, and that's kind of where, the nerve issues kind of started there. And that's kind of where my journey essentially started, and it got into blood clots and, a bunch of other things in the medical system that I had to go through. And I know we had a little bit pressed on time, so what I'll do is kind of fast forward in the years. It just was important to kind of talk about the neurotoxin, and that, as my right leg, as you go down further towards the foot, it would have less and less feeling until finally at the foot, literally there was no feeling. Like everything was perfectly functional, just the feeling factor. So then I was on a camping trip one year, and I ended up, I'm in BC, and then we had our RV. So we were on our RV trip there, and we're in Alberta. And I had my morning campfire. I figured I'm going to have one more campfire in here. And I was doing my thing with the campfire there. And all of a sudden, I started to smell my shoe, and my sandal was basically starting to smoke. And I looked down, and just in time for my foot to effectively explode. It was already swelling really badly. So we ended up in the medical system there, and by this point, I've been already talked to many doctors with the blood clot issues and that sort of thing, and they all kept on hearing, "There's nothing we can do, and there's technologies all the time, but they take time to actually be approved for use in Canada here." So that's kind of the story that I was always hearing. So I heard about this hands-on healer in Kelowna, and basically I was told in the medical system that you have to get home as soon as possible. You have to start treatments on your leg. Infection was setting in. So I was literally, at this point, basically back in BC, and I have this big RV I'm pulling behind, and I had to stop to emergency room in every hospital. I was basically told, give them this file, and you're in charge of your medical system. You're the proponent here, and you have to give them the file and explain things as they ask questions if they have any. And basically this nurse that was at the beginning of my journey, I still remember her words saying, "You're in charge of your health care. You're empowered here. And it's your body, and you make sure that you take care of this and take care of yourself to go down." She was just amazing. I just remember this empowerment conversation with her. So I literally got to a fork in the road, and it's like the right fork went the fastest way to go home, and then the medical system kept chiming in, going, "There's nothing we can do. And I'm having visions of my leg disappearing, being amputated, and my brother calls and said, "I've been having visions of you having problems with your leg and losing your leg. You get to Kelowna. You need to get down there." So I was like, okay, there's all the signs. It feels great. Let's go down there and let's try something new. And that was basically the beginning of the journey. And this leg that I'm still on now, not so much from the leg viewpoint, but helping others now, because I got introduced to this new technology and this light pad he placed on my leg, and the doctor put a line on my foot and said, if the infection goes past this point, you get yourself into a hospital right away. So all of a sudden the red was, creeping to that line, but then after the start with this technology, it stopped, and then the line or the red started to retract from the line. So that's like visual for me, seeing this working, this technology working, going, wow, this is interesting. And that's what kind of started the science part of it. It's because, I'm scientifically oriented. My occupation back then was a software developer. So I was all into this science of it. Like, what is making my body do this? This is fabulous. Like right before my eyes being rolled back. And then I get back home eventually and go to my family doctor, because that's what I was instructed to do. Give the file to my family doctor at that point, and then he would then take over. And he's looking at the file, reading through it, and looking at my foot, and this weird expression on his face, looking back at the file. "How long have you been on those meds?" And then I said, well, about 5 days. He says, "Oh, well, you might as well finish it off. I don't see a reason for being on the meds now, and I don't see anything in your foot that I have to take care of here. So I guess whatever it was is gone." So he of course, took the file and gave me a goodbye and said, "See you later." And I walked out of there going, wow, the doctor is non-alarmed, and proof in the pudding that this is working here. And so then I bought one of those light pads, and that was proof enough for me. And then I got introduced to my subtle energy instrument that I use today with people. And, that's been for 11 years now. And I just turned that around and said, wow, if this works on me, what can I do with other people to assist them too? And, because I experimented with all myself first, and it all worked out. So let's go and open this up to other people. And I learned the technology when I bought this instrument. It also included the training with it. So you get 3 days training. So I went through that, and then I know we're kind of pressed for time, so I'll kind of fast forward. And then, after a while of working with myself, then I was felt confident enough to start working on others and started to see the differences in them. And and now 11 years later, in the mastery of it now, I can actually then gets into the art. You have art and science, so that the science of the subtle energy. So that starts to get into the service now. So I use someone's picture that is the energy witness of them. That's like their cell phone number to them, so they can be anywhere on the planet. Doesn't matter where. I've had people way over in Europe that I've worked with. It doesn't matter where they are on the planet. It goes through the planetary grid and also through quantum. In quantum, there's no space or time, so it's right like as if I'm right next door to somebody touching them. And then with permission and cooperation, then this portal of grace opens, and that gets into the art of it now. So then we have this beautiful connection with somebody, and then the science back to that. If I talk too fast, let me know. I just want to try to fit everything in our time period.
You're doing great.
Great, thanks. So then now the science of it. So what happens that, when you look at two different people, they could have two totally different symptoms, but the origin of what's occurring could actually be precisely identical. So what I do is I'm going to origin. So what is it that actually is affecting that person? So I go through a 2-page worksheet, and it goes through all the bodies, glands, organs, and systems to see what exactly is happening inside of the body. Every person is different. Then they will manifest symptoms, how they manifest symptoms based on their physiology, their history, family history. There's lots of factors involved with each human body. So I'm going with what is it for you, like for example, for yourself, Brenda, what is it for you that is unique for you? And then out of that worksheet comes the lowest 5 performing organs or systems from the viewpoint of the immune system. So we want to tackle those first, because that is where all the energy of the immune system is going. Most of the energy goes straight to pain if there's any pain. Then the body will that's a cue, right? And then the very next part of the cue then is the lowest performing organ or system. It's going to, especially if it's a critical organ like, say, a heart or something like that, it's going to be putting a lot of energy into that organ or system to keep it functioning. And then we have the top 7 stressors, what are affecting you. In our modern age now, there's a lot more possible stressors, and I keep adding more in my kit, so to speak, as I'm testing with people. Some things can get rather exotic, but everyone's exposed to something different into this modern world environment that we're in. And then now that I have this blueprint that we're going to now cover journey, now the harmonization process can work or can start. So then what happens then is that we have, say, the lowest performing organ. We kind of mentioned the heart, so I'll just, I'll just keep with that. So we have, say, the lowest performing organ is the heart. We have the top 7 stressors. So what happens is in creation, everything in third dimensional, in this third dimensional system, it is vibrating at a certain frequency. So that makes it a heart, that makes it a liver, that makes it a parasite. So what I'm doing is I'm tuning in to that person and then that heart, and then that's what we're working with. And then I start to then harmonize. So say, I mentioned the word parasite. So I work with all known parasites. We keep adding, as we need, the new one comes out or new one's discovered or however you want to word that. We add that in. So then now it's the full life cycle as well. So when the parasite first starts, we can get eggs and et cetera, right? So it's the whole life cycle. And then we tune into the heart and parasites to see the intensity. And now we're into the science of it now. What is the intensity of that parasite or group of parasites? It only resonates the parasites that are within the individual's heart in this particular case. We match the intensity, and then in energy, because I work in the energy of the body. Everything physical starts with energy, and then it manifests physical. So I'm working at the power source of these parasites, what's holding them into the body. I'm not working at it from the physical body. I'm working at it from the energy of the body. So I release, I offer harmonization then to these parasites So now that they're now loosened up into the body. Some then just automatically leave the body because the milk has been soured. Others die. Everything's different inside the body. It's the innate intelligence of the human body takes over at this point of what to do with these parasites. And then what can happen is, like, my technology specifically that I use works with what's called switch polarity. I'm unaware of any other subtle energy instruments on this planet. Maybe another one will come someday that someone introduces me to, but in this moment I'm not aware of it that works with switch polarity. What that is that when your immune system is stressed out and a new stressor comes in, your body cannot deal with that because it's all stressed out about everything that's going on right at this particular moment. It looks at that stressor going, I'm switching your polarity. Boom. Now, it will never see that stressor for the remainder of your life, no matter what you do. So then it'll just flare up every year or every 3 years. And someone will say to me, every year about this time, this happens. Well, that's that stressor maybe building up or the external environment overpowering. Then at that point, we get our flare. So what I do is I switch the polarity back. So now the immune system can look out and go, oh, I can deal with you now, and sees it. It's like if it doesn't even see it when the switch polarity is off. And that is where the magic basically kicks in. And the whole process takes about 2 to 5 days. It depends on the individual. And I'm also a clinical hypnotherapist, so I took that class and hands-on, I'm certified, because I wanted to learn about the human psyche. Because people can hang on to things for whatever reason. There could be an emotional loss, some sort of trauma that occurred, and that rears itself up. And then I'm able to talk the individual through that so we can release that trauma together. And then that situation that they're holding on to, that could be then from this disease or whatever the heck that we've started everything with, then it will then allow the release. So that is kind of in a nutshell, basically the harmonization process.
That is incredible work, and I can attest, because recently you may or may not know, to the listening audience, that I've left a 38-year career as a registered nurse working in the front line, and a lot of what's going on nowadays is the precipitator of me leaving. I've been doing all this broadcasting for years, but now I just made the switch, and I just switched into living my bliss. But the catapulting reason was a lot of what's going on now and the pressures to do things that are against my ethics, and for many reasons. And Bob was very quick to offer. He had this little special going on to help healthcare workers and do some body harmonization. And obviously I've been doing a lot of things like PCR testing, PanBio testing, the emotional stuff and stress of everything that's going on working in the front line of nursing. And Bob did a harmonization, and it was nothing short of miraculous, because I had been experiencing increasing allergies and allergic reactions and difficulty breathing from the long hours of being masked and shielded and working in the stress of the environment. And he did the session. My biggest thing was at the bottom of my lungs, I was having a lot of tightness, and it felt like congestion, but it really wasn't. It was more like a stiffness in my breathing, if that makes sense at all to anybody. But there wasn't like there was secretions or any fever or anything that would be symptomatic of the virus that is supposedly going around and affecting so many people. But Bob, I'd love for you to let you know that actually after you completed the harmonization, my breathing is easy. I do not take allergy medications now, which I had been doing for months because it was the only thing that would give me any relief. And, and I generally feel extremely strong and vibrant again, which I was not at the end. And luckily enough, I was able to make the switch in my career path. But a lot of people aren't able to. But I'd love for you to talk on our session that we had.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much for that update. I didn't realize that you had stopped that medication as well. And that gets us into the highest potential of the moment in a session. When I get that blessed connection with somebody, and that was the difference. There's always goodness that comes out of every session I do, but I'm talking about the magic when we get into something that is completely different, and it's something that becomes unexpected and complete allowance. And there was this beautiful connection that occurred between us, and it was just this feeling, and then I was just feeling the flow of everything in your body, and then you were just allowing the release, and that's the magic really comes in with the person I'm working with. Like, I want to get rid of this. Like when I hear those words, and I could spend more time in my beginning part before I even start working with somebody to make sure, I have that alignment with somebody, so then we can get into this sort of magic. And there's this feeling that occurs and this tingly sensation that occurs when I'm working with somebody that I have this blessed connection with. And then I just felt your body just go, ah. It's like this relief, the sound that comes across. Sometimes I hear a sound, sometimes I just feel it. With you, I actually have felt this type of sound. And I think, wow, okay, that felt really good from here. And that's when I peeled off the session, and that's when I get into gratitude for this and so much more. I give thanks.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and to be able to do something. So like I'm a Reiki master, so I'm very aware of the energy fields and the aura and how you can connect with somebody spiritually and physically and emotionally without even being in their presence. And what you do is so amazing in that you take that science of that and can do this on the subtle energy fields of another person, halfway across the world is truly a blessing. And I would like to encourage people. We only have a few minutes left, and this session has gone by so fast, and there's so much information here, Bob. I just want to encourage people to connect with you, to check out your website, and let them know how all the different ways that they can find out more, because they definitely need more of this.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, so my website is creativeharmonicsolutions.com. I'm also on Facebook, Creative Harmonic Solutions. You can find me there as well. But the best way to get a hold of me is you can also send me an email. I also have a contact form on my site. So my email is creativeharmonicsolutions.com. That was my software business. I almost flipped in there by accident. And then I have lots of ideas. I have Explore Ideas on the menu at the top of my page there on the website. And that goes through like all the different types of harmonizations, because we just talked about body harmonization. There's abundance harmonization, getting more of what you want in your life. So it gets completely out of the whole, is this an organ or system? We're just getting into a workshop of what do you want, wording it properly for the inner conscious mind, and then going through a process then with the subtle energy instruments is custom harmonization. So you'll see other harmonizations as well. But, it can be rather daunting. Like, I don't know what's in it, what I need for myself. And so people just, I prompt them just send me an email, and we can hook up a time that we can go on video chat or just on the phone, whatever, is appropriate for the person. I have multiple different ways that we can talk in this world for technology, and we'll just talk through it, and I find that with an interaction, all of a sudden somebody comes out with, oh, this is what, because someone got attracted to me for a reason, right? And they're looking through, and but the lower mind it gets confused sometimes, right? So once we start talking about things, then it's like, oh, okay, you want the abundance harmonization. Oh, okay, well, I have a body harmonization package that would be good for you, because I have a $777 package, for example, that includes the worksheet. And then so for people that are in, say, really good health, for example, we can have, a more targeted, specific, smaller package together. And, it all depends on what people basically want to do. So the idea that I'm saying here is it's all in the spirit of free. What is it that we want to do together? And we just explore that. And then all of a sudden in the conversation, the inner conscious mind comes out with, oh, I want to do this. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, that's what Spirit's telling me. Okay, excellent. So because that person, that inner part of them just communicated to me. And that's the thing I want to also mention. I honor that, and I only go with what's been requested. No sneaky business. It's all in honor. And what did you ask for? And then that's what I deliver. Because when someone asks a question, it opens a portal, or they give permission for this, it opens a portal, and we're able to then have our magic together. And that's where, we can start, just like going to the website.
That is absolutely awesome. So Bob at CreativeHarmonicSolutions.com is the website, and Bob is amazing at what he does, and I can't speak highly enough. And if you do contact him after listening to the show, let him know that Brenda sent you. And Bob will be more than welcome and happy to hear from you and to help you, whether you are in Canada, North America, around the world, wherever you hear this show. Know that Bob can help you and can do so with his Creative Harmonic Solutions. And Bob, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now, quickly, if you have any last words of wisdom to share, we just have 2 minutes left. We'd love to hear.
Yeah, it all comes down to self-empowerment of the beauty of what somebody is. What is it that created them? What inside of themselves? What is them as the perfection of self? I'm looking at everybody and the perfection and the beauty of them. And that is what I'm holding in my hand. And anything less than that is the opportunity for release in whatever the allowable reality is. And then very magical situations, there's even other magical situations where reality is completely altered. The human eye can see much more things than actually is there. What if the veil was lifted? What kind of cool reality would that be? So also is an ascension. What is ascension for somebody? What is the highest potential of the moment? Can we work on an organ or body or system, but also bring up the vibration of the body so then spirit feels more comfortable in it and there's an actual vehicle for what you came to this planet for, whatever that may be in your journey. That is the whole process. That is what the beauty of what is for somebody. And I do this all in gratitude and the honor of that being. And then at the end of every session, in the beginning of every session, I say, thank you. Putting my hands together, allowing the neutrality and the highest potential of the moment and the honoring of that being that I'm with. And for this and so much more, I give thanks.
So nice. So beautiful. Bob, you are truly a high vibe guy, and I really appreciate you and what you do, and wish you continued success. And may this episode bring you some amazing people from around the world who are truly looking for that connection with you. And be blessed. And thank you for all you do. So.
Thank you.
Right now, this ends this episode of Empowered Living with Brenda Pierce. And remember to visit www.brendapierce.com for more inspiration. Connect with Bob. I'll have a link up to Bob's work there as well if you can't find him otherwise. And just know that you are loved and you are loved. You are blessed and you are a blessing. Bye for now.
You have been listening to Empowered Living with Brenda Pierce. Visit BrendaPierce.com for more inspiration through her media, lighter living recipes, and transformational therapy. Join us next week for more empowered living and have a happy, healthy week.